Welcome to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. It is so good to be back with these good people. Always. Great to be off, good to be back. It was, we were off for a week, right? A week? And I totally unplugged from the news. Yeah. So you can imagine my surprise this morning when I tuned back in and discovered that Donald Trump is still president? Did no one read the Mueller report? But here's the good news is there is an election scheduled for 2020. And last week... They're excited. People are excited. Hallelujah. Last week, someone new entered the race. And I'll tell you all about it in tonight's Doing It Donkey Style. College! Now, when last we met, a lot of establishment Democrats were wringing their hands about stopping Bernie Sanders, okay? They were afraid that he's unelectable because he's 77 years old. Well, enter a plucky, young up-and-comer, a full 14 months younger than Bernie, former vice president... Boom. Former vice president and man pointing at the next woman he wants to sniff, Joe Biden. After months of teasing us, today Biden was in Pittsburgh to hold the first official rally of his presidential campaign. And he started off appealing to voters with a steamy striptease. Yeah. Take it off, Joe. Yeah, let's see you roll up them sleeves. Yeah, put some lotion on those elbows. They a little crack. But as far as rallies go, I watched some, but it seemed a little off. Crowd didn't chant to lock anyone up. Not one journalist was threatened, and there were no unifying hats. Without hats, where do voters keep their beliefs? In their brains? It doesn't make... Biden kicked things off with his reasons for running.
There are three basic reasons why I'm running for president of the United States. The first is to restore the soul of the nation, and the second is to rebuild the backbone of this nation. And the third is to unify this nation.
And the fourth is that I'm pretty sure I left an almost new chapstick in the Oval Office somewhere. This nation. Biden took a swing at our current president.
Donald Trump is the only president who's decided not to represent the whole country.
I agree. He doesn't represent the whole country. I'm not even sure he can name all the states in the country. There's New York, Florida, Wisconsin, North California, Idaho, and the rest, of course, all Dakotas. Today was the official announcement for Biden, but Biden teed it up last week with this YouTube video.
Charlottesville, Virginia, is home to the author of one of the great documents in human history. We know it by heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights.
That is inspiring. It makes you want to stand up for American values and maybe buy a reverse mortgage. Seemed like a verse ad. I'm not sure. I like it. Biden doubled down on his somber theme.
Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. In August of 2017, we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s.
Biden is appealing to his core demo, people alive in the 1930s. But Biden he didn't just attack the white supremacists, he also went after their hero.
And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world and shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides? And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime.
That's powerful stuff. and true. Yeah. And here's why Trump should be worried about Joe Biden. Trump's already worried about Joe Biden. And the proof of that is that this ad did something none of the other Democrats have been able to do, and that's put Trump on the defensive. Because after Biden's ad talking about Charlottesville, the president had to answer for his Charlottesville response again.
If you look at what I said, you will see that that question was answered perfectly. And I was talking about people that went because they felt very strongly about the monument to Robert E. Lee, a great general.
Trump thinks you should be honored because you're a good general, no matter which side you fought on. That explains why I went to Erwin Rommel Middle School. The fighting Desert Foxes. Then, on conservative radio, Trump repeated his claim that he was just talking about the Robert E. Lee statue.
They just wanted to protest the fact that they want to take down the statue of Robert E. Lee. Mm-hmm. Now, there were a lot of good people in that group, and they were protesting the taking down of statues. And you had some very bad people in each group.
Bad people in each group. I hear some people on the other side even called those Nazis the N-word. Nazi. That's not nice. That's not nice. That's wrong. Look, why do you have to jump to Nazi? Just because they're Nazis.
Now, that nationwide broadcast radio fib was significant because it was the statement that pushed Trump over 10,000 false and misleading claims. Woo! Trump has passed 10,000 lies. Man, I gotta tell you, if Trump had $1 for every lie he's told, he would say he had $1 billion. And in honor of his 10,000th lie milestone, we're gonna have a balloon drop. Jimmy, let her rip. Come on with the balloons. Are there no balloons? There are no balloons? But Donald Trump promised there'd be balloons. Ooh, 10,001.